Good trick with these though, you know, because you can see how it's been beat. Somebody beat it with a hammer trying to get it off. All you need to do is tap them a few times, and then they'll split out a little bit, and then you put a screwdriver in there and just start working it, little bit by little bit. And remember, you don't want to smack it hard. You don't want to send it home, you know, because I'll show you why here in just a minute. You only got, you can see how far I'm sticking the screwdriver down in there. It's not very far. You only got a small lip in there. And you just slowly work it out, because this way you can reuse them. And you don't have to do any work to them, really. And they'll stay in. But you see that little lip in there? Or see that little lip in there? So if you can't just send it home, you'll go right through there, and then you fuck up a new part. Don't want to do that. Or you get my point. I don't know. Time speaking today. Alright, well, we're needing a new retaining clip, because that is gone. There's nothing really there anymore. That's ridiculous. Oop. There we go. Let's see if it's just that loose. Yep. It's got a castle nut here. It's got a washer behind there, and then it's got a floating bearing style, which is really cool. I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. I'm guessing they just got water in them. You know, a little bit of water and some dirt and crap, because the dirt we have around here is really nasty red clay. It gets in everything. But you pull this forward just a little bit, slide it back, and you can get the center out. GMC style, 53. Pretty interesting, but yeah, the center, it's like a bike bearing. It's like a bike ball bearing. It sits in there, and then you got this little bearing in here. Which, of course, it's going to be a pain trying to get out at the moment without getting greasy. There we go. Come on out of there. Sometimes you got to finesse these things. The grease likes to hang on. Okay. I always like to use a little hook or a screwdriver, and that way you can hold it, but then it sits in there like so, and it's just an interesting little bearing setup. But the washer's caked to the to the bearing. Put all this back up here. We know where it goes, which order it goes in. It's all sitting up the same way it came out. So now I'm gonna pull this off, and I'll move it over there to get the back bearings out. And I'm not sure if the back bearings are pressed in or not. I know the races are, but I don't know about the bearings. We're going to find out. And there you go, to brake pads. So if you ever got to change your brakes on these things, the easiest way is just to pop your wheel bearings off, you know, your castle nut, pull the whole thing, then you don't have to worry about beating your drums off and stuff. You can check your drums and everything, clean your brakes, all that shit. Old trick. Usually doesn't take too much to pop these out. Yep, boom, there we go. Just like so. Just get the leverage on it. They're just a simple seal. Since I got new ones, we don't need it. Alright, and it looks like they are a floating bearing style. Yep, so yep, just got the races and floating bearing. So there's floating bearing there. That's how it came out. Now we gotta punch these races out. So I gotta find my punches and whatnot. Alright. We're back with punch and all the good stuff. We'll see if it'll just come off with the small one first. It's always fun getting these things off. Sometimes they're easier than others. Might help if I use a real hammer though. Hey, there we go. I got the move. Alright. I did forget about one part, though, that was kind of important. I need some wood blocks. So, I will be back momentarily. Alright, we're back. We got ourselves a couple boards here. That'll keep that thing pretty centered for while we smack it a couple times. To figure out the best angle there. Alright, let's see. We got this one here. Gotta make sure I'm hitting on the right side. There we go. There's that one. Make sure that's all where it needs to be. That's the outer. Straight in. Remember that pretty easily. Okay. Just looking at stuff. The only downside to all this grease is it is hard to see it. But there's good things about it. Ow! Come on. There it went. Motherfucker. Some of you know what just happened, and you're probably laughing your ass off and been like, I've been there before. Oh, you new mechanics with your little presses don't understand this. Oh. Alright. We got it. It was in that way, I believe. Double check though. Because yeah, it would have dropped down like so. And yep, that would have dropped in there like so. Okay. Good. Alright, I'm going to clean up a minute. Clean this up just a little bit. And then I'll show you the installation process. Here we go. Alright, so you take this little race of the bearings before you go to put them in. You know, you come over here. Sorry, my shop is a mess right now. It's in the process of being organized. But then you bring them over here and you put them in a freezer. Let them sit in the freezer for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. 20, 30 minutes. Then when you come back and you put them in, I actually should have put them in before I started this, but I forgot. Oh well. But then they'll go in a lot easier. You just got to be a little bit quicker about it. And it saves a lot of time and a lot of hassle. So if you're ever putting bearings in, it doesn't matter on what it is. Take the races and cool the races down. If you have a torch, go ahead and take a torch and you can heat just lightly around the edge real quick and then slap that bearing in there. Make sure it's square. Tap, tap, tap down in there or press whatever you got. And then it'll be good and you can send it. It's a lot easier. Saves a lot of time. So, little tech tip there. Alright, I'll come back to you when I am ready to do this. Alright, we're back. Gotta kind of be quick about this, but it's not like the worst. Whoops. Clean that up. If it was a bigger bearing or, you know, something a little tougher, then I'd be a lot quicker about it. Okay, gotta make sure it's the right way. It's very important. Okay, let's see if we get it started here. Something a little tougher. just do it like that. Work it back and forth until it hits the bottom. But you got to be careful, because you don't want to mess up the race. Hear the sound change? Double check a couple. Oop, what was that? Okay, see, and that's why you use a brass piece. A brass punch or a copper punch, you know, because they're softer. And that way, if you start getting bound up or something, like we just hit the bottom, and there's a little bit right there that can be done. But like, anyway, like I was saying, we hit the bottom, and see, there we go. But when we hit the bottom like that, that would have been a metal punch. We would have had a very good chance of breaking one of the tabs underneath, or the race itself, like putting a big old groove in it. Now, ooh, ow. Hang on. Ow. Little sliver there. That fucking felt lovely. But anyway, but as I can tell, yeah, not one little burr on there. Just a little sliver that got me. But we'll go ahead and give her a little wipe down anyway. Get a little bit of that excess oil that I kind of accidentally dropped. But it didn't hit the pads, so it's all good. Or the drum itself. And when you go to put these in, like you saw me do with the oil, always use oil instead of grease. At least when you're putting them in. You know, you want to grease up the bearings. Don't get me wrong. You want to grease them up really well. But, before I put that in, I got to put the other race in. But like I was saying, that you want to grease them, or you want to oil them, so that way they slide in there. The grease, it's great for, like, you know, if your joints and stuff, keeping them lubricated, keeping metal from wearing out. But for sliding bearings and stuff in, it's not really that good for. When granted, you don't want to take all the grease out. You want to leave a little bit there, but you want to use the oil for the main races. It just works better. It's a thinner viscosity, and it keeps it slickery, you know? And you gotta have the slickery, otherwise, good luck. I mean, you saw how much I struggled with just that one, you know? So, and I don't really have a punch in there, so I'm just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way, like I did that one. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get that one. It's a little different. This one didn't come apart like the others. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way, or if it's just how these ones are made, because these are national. I forget what the other ones are. I'd have to look for you. We'll see what we can figure out here. And you can hear the sound change. Sweet. There we are. Now I just need to grease them up. That's always fun. Sure, I have a rag and everything. Still mush in there quite a bit, so. Alright, let's see what we got. Let's press the seal in there. Ready for that. Let's use the small one on this one. Wide one. Let's go in. See, these seals, you got to be real careful, because they're very fragile, to be honest with you. Technically, you will. Look at that. That's what's up right there. Alright. Now I gotta clean this up a little because, well, you don't want grease getting into your freaking brakes. That's never a good thing. To say the least. There can be a little bit there because it does have a catch guard on it, but other than that, alrighty. I guess we can throw this back on now, huh? There we go. Beauty, beauty. Alright, we're on. Now, pull this old bearing out of here that there like fell apart, and we'll put our washer and our nut back on. I have to go to the hardware store though to get a retainer clip though, because I don't have any, and that one was not even, it was almost non-existent. And yeah, there's some people out there that say, oh, you don't need them, but you know what? I'd rather have something there to stop this nut from coming off and have the wheel come flying off on me on the highway. I don't want that, you know? Oh. Oh yeah. Now I think this is the right size, I'm not sure. We'll find out here. What do you know? Alright, so this is what you want to do with these bearings. You want to tighten them, not super tight, but you want to get them snug, right? Just about. Okay, now for me, that's beautiful. I might go one more. Beautiful. I will look up the torque on these things just to be sure, but I'm guessing that's right there. Just off of my experience, I'm going to say that's where it needs to be. Maybe a little looser, but they will loosen up because they're new. Yeah, now they'll be good. Let me double check here real quick. This is what happens when you are a mechanic. Yeah, okay, there we go. See, that's what I usually do anyway. I'll go to where they're tight, and then I back off a quarter turn. And that's way better. Oh no, almost seems like it needs to be a little tighter. Oops. And don't set your wrench in the ground when it's covered in grease. Yeah, it needs to be right there. See? Yep, that's where it needed to be. And that's how you check it. Now, how I did that is just partly experience. I've done these so many times that it's kind of like I can feel where it needs to be. If you haven't done it many times, just go ahead and read the book, find the specs on it, go a little bit over, and then torque it, and you should be good to go. Because what that does is it sets the bearings, and it sets it all into the races and everything, so then you don't tighten it up, think you're tight, and go drive off, and all of a sudden it's flopping all over the place. So, hope that helps somebody out there. If you like this stuff, like and subscribe. You know, somebody might learn something. And we're back putting the tire on. Because, well, not much left. But, we got the other side to do. I'm probably only going to, you know, I'll throw in just little clips of the other side from here on. I'm not going to force you guys to watch all of it. Because I feel it. I don't want to sit there and watch it, you know, somebody just wrench on something all day either. You know, I'd like to learn that one. We'll be moving on to the other side here. So, like this and if you learned something, smash that like button. It helps out all the way. And if you want to learn some more, hit that subscribe button. Or even if you just want to see some cool adventures. We got some cool ones on there and we got some more coming. And it's only going to get better. As soon as I got some better cameras, it ought to get way better. Next one. Much better. Couple little smacks, and then you just get that screwdriver in there. This is a little different way of doing it. A little faster way. Go back down the other side. Voila. Just like that. Saves a lot of time, makes it a lot easier. Instead of sitting there beating on it and trying to get it out. Now granted, there are ones out there that are hard to get off. And if they're really hard to get off, just take a little torch and put just a little heat to it. Just a little bit. Like literally done. And it'll pop right out. You don't want to put too much to it and you start burning grease, and that just smells awful. Alright. We got a little bend down here. I can't remember where I put them. Pretty standard for me though. There we go. Yeah, that is not any good for a fucking cotter pin. That is ridiculous. So. And this one was loose too. I like the floating bearing design. That is nice. Got an aeroplane. Oh, nice. He's doing a good slip. Cool. He's having fun. I'm jealous. It's amazing when you get up in a plane, you realize how small we really are. How big the world actually is. It's easy to imagine it, but nothing compares to actually seeing it in person. I love flying. As long as there's a good pilot behind it, I love it. There it is. Yeah, see, this one's the one that had issues. This is the one that had a pretty big flat spot in it. So, this one was the problem child, if you will. And it was also the main culprit of the squeak, too. Alrighty. Get the bearing out of here real quick. There we go. Toss it on there. Alright. Now we gotta beat these races back out. That and get the seal out. Our little crowbar. Get our seal out of here. Bam, just like so. And see, these seals weren't put in all the way. I just noticed. Okay, I'm gonna have to show you what I mean. So this is a common mistake people make. They will put the seals in, but they leave a lot of grease on the edges here. Okay, and they don't put it all the way down. It stops, and it takes a little more pressure, and people think that's where it's hitting the lip, when actually it's hitting a whole bunch of grease that is built up here. If you can see that, that is all just thick grease. So it couldn't push down all the way, so it probably didn't get a good seal right here, which is probably why. There it is. There's one. Nice. There we go, come on. I think we're just about there. I can see the edge. You just got to make sure it's flat on there, because if it's not, it will wear your bearings out, because then it's a little bit off kiltered and it'll sit there and do this, the bearing will. And then you have a big problem and it just starts wearing everything. Okay, so there's one race. I think I get the other one in. And I need to find me some more grease, so I'll be probably back here in just a minute. I have to. Alright. Got another one here. Oh, ouch. Okay. Where'd it go? There we are. Alright, let's see. It needs to go in this way. Oh, that fucking hurt. A little bit more right here, probably, at least. Yeah, it looks like it's there to me. Maybe just a couple taps to make sure, but it looks like it's there. Yep, it's there. And then we take our little raggers. Just a little edge here. Okay. Bam. Looky there. Boy, that looks good. Alright. Let's see. I don't know how much is in this thing, but we're going to find out here. At least get a little bit in there. Feel it with my fingers. There's a little spot right here. There we are. Voila. And that right there is how that's done. And then we take this right around the outside. We don't want the outside running out to the breakdown. Make sure we didn't get nothing on there. Don't look like it. Go ahead and freaking goose this one up a little. Right in there, put the seal in. Yeah, buddy. And we're in. That there is how it's done. There we are. Like I said, you gotta always make sure they center up. Otherwise you have issues. Sweet, rock and roll. Now we just put it back on and we'll go get some keepers and replace the oil and call it good. Okay. Looky there. We have ourselves another wheel bearing set in. Ha ha! But you think, oh yeah, this will just take a few minutes. And it takes half the day. Tell me, how many of you have been there before? There we go. That's better. Yeah, we'll call that good. Alright, we need to go get some cotter pins. So I'll put the tire back on, go get some cotter pins, change the oil, put new cotter pins on, and then we'll test drive it, make sure that it's all good. And I'll tell them to come get it. So, yeehaw.